Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video, we're going to look at the Round 8 review for NRL Fantasy in the 2024 season. So I'll just go back to Round 8 to show that we got 867 points, which was about 34,000 for the round. We did drop a couple of thousand spots overall, but considering we went with our bold tactic of trying to hold 4 Bulldogs players on the bench, we've done okay. Obviously, the choice of captaincy let us down, cost us a few points. So I think all in all, to only drop a couple of thousand spots in a week where we thought it could go a lot worse, I think was pretty good. So, yeah, if we go through the team, Harry Grant with the 54, a solid return from him as usual. Xavier Wilson with 36, so, for his price and the reason we brought him in with Payne Haas back and the like, that's a good result, I think. Ruben Cotter with a 49, solid as ever. And Cam Murray with a 70, so really good. We did think about trading him out, given his price was going to dip a bit. We probably need to move him on through the Origin period, but we held and we were rewarded. Fini Fuiaki with the 54 is a really great return for him, given the price point we bought him in at. Sean Bloor with a 48 is continuing to do quite well, so Edge is looking okay at the moment. Obviously, the big whiff was Nicho Hynes, vice captain, not the big C, and we missed out on an extra, 74 points. Backing Cleary in, maybe off first week of injury, in hindsight, was a bit stupid, but I guess sometimes you risk it for the biscuit and you don't get it. Ero's been awesome though with a 53. Ethan Strange, on the other hand, I guess we did want to have a bit of a look just to see how he would go. Hasn't turned out well. So maybe one we need to look at moving on if we can. Tommy Turbo with the 27 was underwhelming, I suppose, for what we hoped to get from him. Pappenhausen was good though with the 57. And Bostock, I guess, finally missed out and getting a try or an assist or those sort of attacking stats, and ended up with a 17. On our bench, we went with Armstrong as our sort of downgrade option. And I think that was the right pick. He got 50. I haven't actually looked too closely at the other scores. So Raiders, because KO Weeks was one, 42, so that's not bad, but obviously 50 is 8 better. And the other one was the Eels halfback, Sanders. How did he go? It looks 35. So yeah, okay. If you brought him in, he's making some money, but I guess on the bye this week, so we can definitely wait a week and bring him in going into the first Origin game. I think as a bit of a cash maker and someone who is going to cover those first couple of bye rounds. Chevy Stewart, so a little bit sidetracked there, but 42, which is pretty good. I thought he scored quite low in Supercoach, so I'm not sure where the discrepancy was. There must be a lot of run meters to go with maybe a few runs. I know they score those differently. Tom Chester, unfortunately, hamstring injury, so only 17 and probably a trade out at this point, but I think we'll be okay. And Lockie Galvin with a 55, so really great score from him, and he's just continuing to make cash. Doesn't play around 13, but after that, it's going to be super handy for the rest of the Origin bye period. So definitely a hold for the medium term. And then obviously all the buys. So in terms of this week, trades, actually, before we do that, should do the head-to-head stuff. So in the end, a fairly comfortable win over Wakey Wombats. And if we have a look at the team, it probably just came down to having Nicho Hynes. Obviously, Grant over Lussick was a nice advantage as well. And Murray over Terrell May, 50 points. So, I mean, having Angus Crichton was good, though, for the Wombats with 86. Reece Walsh with the 64, so obviously outperformed Tommy Turbo. But, yeah, just a couple of glaring sort of mismatches there. and I guess particularly this one, getting me over the line. If we have a look at the other matchups, so this one I've got to go to. I can never remember the fantasy one. Oh, so we've got 1,000. So Helen Keller's optometrist, who is just carving up this season. So we'll definitely have a look at that. Yeah, league position first, probably close to first overall. And had Terrell May too and still got the 1,000. Captaining Hines, I guess, is probably the key to that. What's happened here? Has the rusty trombones must have. No, I don't know what's going on there. I haven't put a captain in. Okay, well, maybe someone's given up fairly quickly this season, but yeah, made the win look more impressive. But Joey Manu with the 60 is good. Max Plath, Lockie Galvin, Arthurs and Chan on the bench. So I missed out on Fini Fuiaki's score there, which is a bit stiff. But it is what it is. So yeah, so even having Strange and May still getting 1,000 is an awesome effort. If I go back, so there was a fairly high scoring one there, 979 to 923. Might have a look at that real quickly too. Big Keith and Team Gibbon one have featured on the channel so far. I think mostly through our head-to-head, but both captaining Hines. I think that was the key to getting a high score this week was captaining Hines. At the 124, you'd be mad not to. Reece Walsh with the 64 is good too. We've covered him. Angus Crichton, Cam McInnes with the 61. So yeah, some good scores there. And the bench, so doing the complete reverse there with the top three on the interchange. And yeah, I mean, not getting Stewart's 42, but probably not the worst. Missed out on half a dozen points or so. And yeah, well done, boys. So I guess in terms of trades this week, we do have a bit of money in the bank. And we do need to sort of, I guess we don't have to rush it, but we bought Tom Chester in as a bit of a money maker that was going to play through round 13 and 14. But obviously now that he's not an option, I think the obvious replacement is K Weeks. So that gives us a war chest of 534. And I mean, we can probably, look to. Oh, I didn't force that trade. It's gone. That's okay. Weeks. There we go. So if we confirm that trade, and then we'll fix the team up and we'll have a bit of a look at where we need to potentially strengthen. So we got Kiraz back, so I think we can swap out Strange. Curran, I think we'll swap him in for Willison. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, Galvin's not going to get a run in the halves, nor is Hughes or Salmon. So I guess, given that he scored a 50 and he's playing a bit of fullback, we could swing Armstrong in there, or even Weeks, I guess, Could lob up there. Just depending on how we feel. So obviously we do need a second hooker, I think. And I guess we've got our target, our eyes set on Marshall King. So the question is, who do we trade out to get to him? Don't think it's going to be anyone in this starting 13. They're all there for a particular reason. So Bostock has probably peaked in price, but the Dolphins do have that nice coverage through Origin. So I think he'll be pretty vital. Chevy Stewart's making a bit of cash now, which is nice. Armstrong's obviously making money. So is Galvin. Plus, we said his coverage is good. Xavier Willison, we've talked about, he'll play some minutes through Origin, and dual position is nice. Sam Hughes and Jamin Salmon are still making a bit of money, although sounds like Preston will be back this week, so it'll be interesting to see how they use Salmon. But the Bulldogs, we held on to them as well because they do offer Origin buy coverage. So I guess the odd one out is Ethan Strange. In, I guess, a decision that shocks absolutely no one. So Jeremy Marshall King, welcome into the team, champion. Confirm that trade. And there, so I guess he'll go straight to the top of the list, I'd imagine. I think Galvin's probably the next one that's locked in. Just realised we don't really have a loophole option this week, but not too concerned about that. I think Armstrong probably looks good enough to keep around. Well, I should probably look at the matchups. If he's playing Penrith, that won't be a go. The Rabbitohs are playing Penrith, so tough draw there. Playing the Warriors, but at Newcastle Sunday afternoon. So I think, yep, Armstrong's a good pick. And then who do we want? So the Dolphins against the Cows. Raiders against Manly at 6 p.m. So I don't know about Stewart. I guess it all depends where they use Salmon. I think, against the Tigers, I think that's a nice matchup for the Dogs. Might have to do a bit more research about their defence and where they're leaking a few points. But I guess that's what I am leaning towards is Salmon there. The Broncos play. The Broncos play the Roosters, so it's always a question of how many minutes Wilson will get, I think. So, I mean, if we leave it like that, it's probably going to go pretty close. So, yeah, obviously, we've still got to get team lists out on Tuesday, which we'll do a live reaction uh, for and go through the sports deck stuff like we do. We'll do the tops, chops, traps, and slaps on Wednesday once we've had a bit of a chance to think about it a bit more. And then obviously the round preview on Thursday. But we'll leave the video there for the time being. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the fantasy content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.